Right. I have a thought, just a really cool thought that we wanted to share. And I wanted to ask you, what do this fork and firefighters have to do with each other? Uh, there are many things, but I'll share with you this thought and connect these two, connect firefighters and a fork. I've often thought of, like, it just fascinates me how firefighters work. I think they have such an incredible job. And especially this year in 2022, they had an incredible job that really affected me. But before that, I've always thought about how firefighters work and their systems. And it has helped me to be consistent with a lot of things in my life by just thinking about how firefighters do their job and their systems. And one of the things that makes me in awe of them is that when they finish a job, when they finish whatever they've done, they come back to their station and take care of things right away, getting the trucks ready, getting everything ready for the next emergency. And why I've thought about that is because in my life, the things that I take care of and the things that I do, I want them to be ready. I don't want to not be prepared for an emergency. Because could you imagine if when the fire alarm goes off, there's a fire and the firefighters would get to their trucks and their vehicles and would say, oh no, we need to make sure everything's restocked. We need to restock that. We need to make sure everything's put back where it needs to be. There's no way. They have seconds that they have to be out the door, ready to help whomever it is needs their help. They can't even be thinking about that. They have to be so prepared, just ready to go. And in my life, I've thought about that. Not that I'm a firefighter, not that I will ever be a firefighter. I'm so grateful for the men and women who put their lives on the line in those emergencies. But I can use that system that they have. And so when I do things, I think of what's the next time that I need this and to take care of it right then. So just a simple, silly thing is that when I get home from work on Friday, I teach school. And when I get home from work on Friday, I have my lunch box and I will pack it and get it ready for Monday, so that Monday morning, I won't have to think, oh no, I need this or I need that. And I need to get ready for those things. And one of the things that I do, because I usually eat salads, I prepare my meals on Sunday night. That's a whole other thing. But I usually eat salads. And so I love to put forks. I put 5 forks in my lunchbox. Hayley, can you believe that? That's why I have a fork. I have a fork and I'll connect it to the firefighters because I get prepared for the next time I need my lunchbox. And what I know that I need in my lunchbox is I need forks. I also need my whole food supplements. I need those. And I also need a jar because there's a drinking fountain here. And I use a jar so then I know that I will always have water. So these simple things help keep me consistent. And then when Monday morning comes, I'm like, wow, it's school. It's time to get going. Then I'm not in a panic. I'm just ready to go. And I just have to tell you a silly story about this. And then Hayley, I want you to share maybe some things that you do. I know a friend of mine calls it front loading. Like that would be the same thing, front loading, getting ready, prepared. But so I've been doing this for a while with putting the amount of forks that I need. And one day in the faculty room, I had brought out my fork and I had set it down next to my plate, next to what I was eating. And I was doing something else. And another cute gal who worked at the school, she came over and she actually picked up my fork and started eating with it, started using it. Well, I didn't say anything. I was like, oh, okay, she can use my fork. But I didn't have to ask for it because I had more forks in my lunchbox. So I just took out my fork, from my lunchbox, the other fork that I had front loaded, I had in my lunchbox. I just took that fork out and just started eating my lunch. Well, when she finished her lunch, I just asked her real politely, I'm like, can I have my fork back? Because I didn't want her to take the fork to the cafeteria because, you get rid of your
yours.
It was mine. It was mine. And she looked at it. She's like, she kind of looked puzzled. She just thought, wait, this isn't my fork. This isn't the fork I brought from the lunchroom. And I explained to her how I prepare and I put forks in there. So I didn't really need it at that moment. And we laughed and laughed about that. It was the funniest thing. It became an inside joke between us. Like, did you bring your fork today? Did you bring your fork? I would ask her, do you have a fork? And she would ask me if I have a fork. To when at the end of that year, we even gave her, she was gifted a fork that was engraved and it had her name on it. So I think of that. I think of being like firefighters and think of doing things before it becomes an emergency. And then it helps to be consistent. It helps to just keep going, like doing things when they're important, but not urgent. So that's my fork story of how you can be like a firefighter. Share your thoughts.
Oh, I really appreciate your thought on being prepared. I think being prepared really can make our lives easier, right? It simplifies. And since you were prepared, you could share forks with your people next to you. But don't take it to the cafeteria because that's mine.
Yes,
that's
I need
awesome. Well, but I really think preparedness is a huge thing that we could spend hours on. For me, just spiritually being prepared. So when I was a kid, and then I went to, sorry, just one moment. I don't know what just happened. There we go. When I was a kid, we talked about the different areas of your life. So you've got the spiritual, the physical, the intellectual, the emotional, and the social. So it's spies. And so that's how we memorized it. Right? And so we talked about being prepared in those 5 areas. And for me, if I'm prepared spiritually, then the other ones seem to just fall into place. Mm-hmm. And that's for me, if I make sure that I have my sacred time with God every day, then I feel like everything else just kind of, this is what I need to do here. And this is what I need to do here. And I keep my constants going. One of my friends, she taught me constants. And I love that, where you can't go more than 1 or 2 days without doing certain things like showering, or brushing your teeth or preparing a meal, doing a load of laundry. There's certain things in our lives that we must prepare and have going in order, or we are like overwhelmed and feel like we're drowning. And so I think that preparedness, like a firefighter, like you were talking about, it's so nice to have, we think about preparedness. You got to have your 72-hour kit. You want to be able to grab it and go. And that's how preparedness, when I think of a firefighter, they are grab it and go kind of people. And I like the way that you shared that. It makes me think, okay, what can I do to grab and go? What can I do to be absolutely prepared and ready so that, and that your story with the fork, that's a perfect example. I love it. Like there couldn't have been a better idea about that. So that would be good for us all to think about, okay, what is it that I can do better? What is it that I can, this isn't to like shame us or anything at all. This is just, okay, where am I at? And what can I do to just make my life a little easier and more simplified?
Yes. And I think it's also thinking a little bit ahead, because yes, it is about those constants, and how can I make like those constants a little bit smoother transition to do them. So I love to work out. That's a habit of mine. But one of the ways that helps me to do that is that once I finish working out, or the night before, I get my clothes ready. I get my workout clothes ready. I get them
You are
just right in place.
good.
I know, because if I can remove as many obstacles as possible to making something happen, then in an emergency, or when I wake up late, well, I'm not going to work out. But if I already have some things set in place, then it makes it easier to make that choice.
Well, yeah, because you've got the
choice.
yes, and you've got that intention. So like the night before, I have my socks and my underwear on my workout clothes. I know exactly which workout clothes I'm going to wear.
Yes.
And then I'm more likely to not hit the snooze button a million
Yes.
times the next morning. You know, I'm like, I have the intention of going to work out tomorrow, but if I don't get my underwear or my socks out or my shoes and get them all ready, then mentally I'm not ready. You know, I've got to get ready the night before.
Exactly. And to think about like the things that we do, or that I do, I think about them and I think, okay, if I'm ending this, whatever it is, how can I prepare for the next time that I will do this same thing? Because I'm already in that mode of it. How can I get ready for that next time, so that next time just makes it easier? Just like the firefighters, you know, they come home, they come home, and they come back and they just do it right away. There's no thought. It's not like, oh, should we do it now or should we do it later? No, it's like now. One of the things at school we give out, it's called a golden ticket, the Golden Ticket Award, and it happens every Friday. And for some teachers, it's like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Like it's just one more thing. And I don't know about you, but sometimes one more thing, not that it takes a lot, it's just one more thing. So I have invented a little system that on Friday, after that golden ticket is given, I get the next one ready for the next Friday. I even email, because you also have to send an email to the parents and tell them why their child is amazing, which they are. It's good. So I'll even type out an email right then, put a schedule send for the following Friday. So then it's done. It's golden ticket. I've done it once. Golden ticket is done for the next week. It's done until the next week. So then I don't have to think, oh my gosh, I have to take care of that. It's just little things like that make it make it easier. Like you said, that make it a constant. So it can be a constant. And it's not like, oh my gosh. Anyway.
That's a great example. That's like the perfect idea of, okay, how can I make this easier? That totally helps, because then you don't, like, you would hate to forget about that, or, you know, that's something that's really important for those kids. And so you just prep it and be all ready for it. I love that. So good. You're like example of this. Everybody listen to Julie Byrice. She knows what she's talking about.
I'm working on it. That's why we're working on it, knowing these skills and learning from others. And that's why I just love being a part of this journey with others. Just,
you know, and
moving
yes,
forward.
and you're right. It is a practice, right? Like you've practiced until you're super good at it. But I think sometimes, like if someone is listening and they hear you say all that you've said and that you're super good at it, they can easily compare themselves and be like, oh, I suck at that. Because honestly, I'm going to be vulnerable right now. I was thinking, oh, I'm not very good at this. This is not one of my strong points. But what you have shown us is that it's possible. And it's just skill. It's just creating the right timing of things.
Yes, exactly. Thank you for saying that, because it has been a process, and I'll be vulnerable too. There are things that you do, Hayley, that I think, oh, oh, I want to know how to do that. I want to know how she does that. Like your organization and your detail. Like, oh, I just want to do that. So it's for us, it's whatever resonates with us, and to maybe choose one thing to say, how can I prepare in a different way? So when it's not urgent, just when it's important, I can prepare this for the next time. I can be ready for the next time. And then I can see, whoa, that was easy. That was really easy the next time. And then it becomes this habit and this system that really works, but it doesn't have to be, it's not overnight. Nothing is overnight. And we just move forward together. So
yeah, and we can even say it to ourselves, I choose again.
yeah. Ooh, I like that. I choose again. So yeah. And it's almost
Rather than
almost out of
shame,
time.
I choose again.
I choose
Yeah.
again. Yeah. We're almost out of time. So oh, I love it. I love it. We're on this journey together to uplift, to move forward. And that's really what it is. It's
Yeah.
to help each other, to implement skills, to implement things, to put God first and move forward together.
Because we're so much alike. All of us are so much alike because we're human. And so we get to just learn about the skills that help us simplify that life
And help each other.
and help
Oh,
each other.
you're awesome.